Hi everyone, my name is Rose. I'm 28 years old, living in the bustling city of Seattle, Washington, where the rain never seems to stop, but the tech scene is always buzzing with energy. By day, I run my own successful tech startup called Empower Tech, which focuses on empowering women in STEM fields through innovative apps and networking platforms, something that's incredibly close to my heart given my own journey. But today, I'm not here to talk about business tips or coding hacks. No, I want to share a deeply personal story from my real life, one that's raw, emotional, and honestly a bit cathartic to recount even now. This isn't fiction, it's my truth. From the stinging pain of being constantly belittled to the exhilarating rush of turning the tables in the most satisfying way possible. If you've ever been underestimated by someone close to you, maybe a family member, a friend, or even a colleague, who made you feel small and powerless, then this story might resonate with you on a profound level. It's about betrayal, disrespect, that gnawing sense of injustice, and ultimately, the sweet validation of proving them all wrong. So if you've ever fantasized about serving up a heaping dose of karma to those who wronged you, go ahead and hit that like button now. Subscribe to the channel for more real-life tales of triumph and revenge that will leave you inspired. And let's dive right into it. Trust me, by the time we're done, you'll feel that same fire I did. Okay, let's rewind the clock and set the scene properly. Because to understand the payoff, you need to feel the buildup, the slow burn of frustration that simmered inside me for years. I was just 17 when everything changed. My mom had been a single parent for a few years after my dad passed away unexpectedly from a heart condition. It was a tough time. We'd moved around a bit, scraping by on her waitressing salary and whatever odd jobs I could pick up after school. But then she met Robert, a sturdy construction worker with a kind smile and a stable job. They got married quickly, and suddenly, we were blending families. It sounded promising on paper. A fresh start in a modest suburban home in Portland, Oregon, with a backyard that could have been charming if it wasn't overrun with weeds and forgotten lawn chairs. The house itself was a fixer-upper, faded blue paint on the exterior, creaky wooden floors inside, and a kitchen that always smelled faintly of coffee and whatever was baking in the oven. My new room was tucked away at the end of the hallway, small but functional, with a single window overlooking the neighbor's fence. I made it my sanctuary, stacking my desk with textbooks, notebooks, and a second-hand lamp that cast a warm, yellowish glow during my late-night study sessions. Studying was my lifeline back then. After losing my dad, I threw myself into school as a way to cope, to feel like I had some control in a world that felt chaotic and unfair. I'd sit there for hours, my back aching from the uncomfortable chair, my eyes straining against the dim light, highlighting key passages in my biology textbook, or solving complex math problems that made my brain hum with focus. The scratch of my pencil on paper was a soothing rhythm, a reminder that hard work could lead to something better, a scholarship, a good college, a future where I wouldn't have to worry about money or stability. But enter Jake, my new stepbrother. He was 19, fresh out of high school, and from the moment we met, it was like oil and water. Tall and broad-shouldered from his days playing casual football, with messy blonde hair that he never bothered to comb, and a perpetual smirk that screamed entitlement. Jake carried himself like he was the king of the castle. He wore those worn-out band t-shirts and jeans that sagged just enough to look rebellious. And he had this laugh. Loud, booming, the kind that filled the room and made you feel smaller just by hearing it. Our first real interaction set the tone. It was moving day, and I was hauling boxes into the house, sweat beading on my forehead despite the cool Oregon drizzle outside. Jake lounged on the porch steps, sipping a soda, not lifting a finger. "Hey, new sis," he called out, his tone laced with sarcasm. "Don't strain yourself with those books. Wouldn't want you to break a nail or something." I forced a smile, my arms burning from the weight, but inside, a spark of irritation flared. Who does he think he is? I thought, wiping my brow. But I brushed it off, hoping it was just nerves from the change. It wasn't. As weeks turned into months, Jake's mockery became a daily ritual, chipping away at my confidence like a relentless chisel. He'd saunter into the living room, where I'd be studying on the couch, because my room got too stuffy sometimes, and plop down next to me, controller in hand for his endless video game marathons. The TV would blare with explosions and gunfire, drowning out my concentration. "Still at it, huh? Weak sauce, Rose. All that studying and for what? You're missing out on real life, parties, girls, fun." His words stung, each one like a pinprick to my ego. I'd feel my cheeks flush hot, my heart pounding in my chest, as I gripped my pen tighter, pretending to ignore him. But internally, a whirlwind. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Am I really weak for wanting more? The disrespect gnawed at me, especially because it came from someone who was supposed to be family. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it's from those under the same roof. And it escalated. Jake wasn't content with quiet jabs. He made it a performance. One evening, during a family dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, the sauce simmering on the stove, filling the air with garlic and tomato scents. He decided to air his grievances. My mom had asked about school, and I mentioned applying for scholarships. Jake snorted, twirling his fork. "Scholarships? Come on, Mom, Rose is dreaming big, but let's be real. She's too soft, too weak. Sticks her nose in books instead of getting out there. You'll never amount to anything hiding like that." The table went silent. My stepdad chuckled awkwardly, muttering something about kids these days, while my mom shot me a sympathetic glance, but said nothing. I stared at my plate, the food turning to ash in my mouth, my throat tightening with unshed tears. My hands trembled under the table, nails digging into my palms. Powerlessness washed over me in waves. I wanted to scream, to defend myself, but fear held me back. What if it made things worse? What if I really was weak? Nights like that became routine. I'd retreat to my room, the door clicking shut behind me, and collapse onto my bed, the springs creaking under my weight. Tears would come then, hot and silent, soaking my pillow as I replayed his words. The house sounds faded, the TV droning, Jake's laughter echoing from downstairs, and I'd whisper to myself in the darkness, "You're not weak, you're strong. One day they'll see." But doubt crept in, insidious and cold. making me question everything. Universally, I think we all know that feeling. The craving for justice when someone underestimates you, disrespects your efforts, makes you feel invisible. It's that fire in your gut, the one that says, "I'll show you." High school dragged on, each day a battle. Jake dropped out of community college after one semester, claiming it was pointless busy work, and instead spent his days sleeping in, then heading out to hang with his buddies. He'd come home reeking of cheap beer and cigarette smoke, bragging about his adventures. Meanwhile, I pushed harder. Senior year, I juggled AP classes, a part-time job at a local cafe where the espresso machine hissed and the air smelled of fresh pastries, and volunteer work to beef up my college apps. My body ached from exhaustion, sore feet from standing shifts, headaches from staring at screens. But Jake's voice echoed in my mind, fueling me. "Weak," he'd say. "No," I'd counter internally. "Determined." Graduation day was bittersweet. I walked across the stage in my cap and gown. The auditorium filled with cheers and the flash of cameras, clutching my diploma like a trophy. Scholarships rolled in, not full rides, but enough to get me to a state university for computer science. Jake, he skipped the ceremony, too busy with whatever scheme he was cooking up. That summer, as I packed for college, he cornered me in the hallway. "Off to nerd school, huh? Bet you'll drop out when it gets real. You're not cut out for it. Too fragile." His breath was sour, his eyes mocking. I met his gaze, my voice steady for the first time. "Watch me." But inside, my heart raced, fear and anger clashing. College was a grind, but liberating. My dorm room was cramped, shared with a roommate who blasted music at odd hours, but it was mine, no Jake looming. I dove into coding classes, the click-clack of keyboards in the lab becoming my new soundtrack. Late nights blurred into early mornings, fueled by vending machine snacks and determination. Every project, every A, was a brick in my wall against his doubts. But news from home trickled in. Jake bouncing between dead-end jobs, flipping burgers, stocking shelves, always getting fired for laziness or attitude. He'd call sporadically, his voice slurred. "Hey, spot me some cash? You're the smart one now." I'd hang up, my phone screen blurring with frustration. How dare he? After everything? By 22, I graduated with honors, landing an entry-level gig at a tech firm in Seattle. The office was sleek, open-plan desks, humming servers, the constant buzz of keyboards and murmured discussions. It wasn't glamorous, debugging code until my vision swam. Fetching coffee for seniors, but it paid the bills. I rented a tiny apartment overlooking Puget Sound, where the waves lapped rhythmically, a soothing contrast to my chaotic past. Jake's life? A downward spiral. Failed businesses, like that time he tried selling used electronics online, only to get scammed, piled up debts. Our parents' marriage strained. My stepdad's layoffs led to arguments, drinking. They divorced when I was 24, leaving Jake adrift. Couch surfing with friends. The turning point came on a stormy evening in my apartment. Rain pelted the windows like accusations, thunder rumbling in the distance. I'd been overlooked for a promotion again, and Jake's words haunted me. Weak. Never amount to anything. I paced the living room, the carpet muffling my steps, fists clenched. Enough is enough. Tears streamed down my face, mixing with resolve. That night, I started freelancing, building apps on the side, my laptop screen glowing in the dark. Doubts whispered, "What if we'll fail?" But I silenced them, coding through the night, fingers flying over keys. My big break, an app for women in tech to connect, share resources, mentor each other. I called it EmpowerNet at first, pouring hours into it. The interface was simple, clean lines, intuitive navigation, but it filled a gap. Beta testing with friends led to buzz. Investors called. By 25, I quit my job, rebranded to EmpowerTech, secured funding. The office grew, from a co-working space smelling of shared coffee to a high-rise with panoramic views, the air crisp with possibility. My team extended, diverse, driven women who'd faced their own underestimations. Success was intoxicating. Magazine features, TEDx invites, revenue climbing to millions. But scars remained. Jake's mockery lingered, a shadow. Whispers reached me. Jake, jealous, bad-mouthing me to old acquaintances. She got lucky. Still that weak girl. It fueled me further. Then the climax. Last year, at 27, EmpowerTech hosted a flagship event, a networking gala and job fair in our Seattle HQ. The venue sparkled. Crystal chandeliers, polished marble floors, the hum of conversations over clinking glasses. Caterers served hors d'oeuvres, the scent of fresh herbs and cheese wafting through. I wore a sharp black pantsuit, confidence radiating. We just inked a $15 million deal. Triumph coursed through me. My assistant buzzed, "Family here, asking for you." Heart skipping, I approached the lobby. There, Jake, gaunt in an ill-fitting shirt, resume clutched like a lifeline. The job line snaked behind him, eager applicants in suits. His eyes met mine, widening in shock. "Rose, you're the boss?" Time slowed. The lobby's chatter faded. My pulse thundered. This is justice. He shuffled forward, voice trembling. "I need help. Job, anything. Debts piling up. Eviction looming. Come on, sis. Family, right?" I let silence hang, savoring it. My thoughts, years of pain, now this. Calmly, "Remember calling me weak, mocking my studies while you wasted away." His face crumpled, sweat beading. I was kidding. Wasn't funny. I gestured to the empire around us. "I built this. You, standing in my line." He pleaded, voice cracking, humiliation raw. "Please, apply fairly," I said, turning. "If qualified, which you're not, maybe." He deflated, eyes furious, yet defeated, slinking away. Relief flooded me, triumph, validation. The weight lifted. I was free. Reflecting now, it's about more than revenge. It's karma's poetry, justice earned through perseverance. If you're battling doubts, channel them. Build your empire, let actions speak. If this hit home, like, comment your revenge stories. Subscribe for more. See you next time.